So where were you traveling? You were in Greece?
We went to Greece for 2 weeks, and then I came back, and, I've been to Charleston to see my mom who moved back there, it's her home, and then I was in the Hamptons doing a trunk show, and I came back and left the next morning for Maine for 4 nights, so I got back last night, so it's been
Oh
good.
God,
I
that
did
sounds
have a
so
summer
nice.
last year. I went to visit my daughter who was in Melbourne in Australia, and it was winter then, and so this summer I was like, I'm summering very hard, so I have
Yeah,
and it's been great.
that sounds so nice. It sounds great to get a little bit of like Greece and Maine, like
Yeah,
kind of both ends of the spectrum.
a good mix.
How was the trunk show?
It was really good. I got to do it, this woman that we kinda discovered each other because we both met, Ulrika Lundgren, who has Rika Studios in Amsterdam, and
Mhm.
we met Kristen at your trunk show.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so, we both, really fell in love with Ulrika, and we love her clothes, and she's like, "Let's do something together." So, and then we added a ceramist and a woman who does sort of, into, landscaping, which was really beautiful, and it was fun. It felt like a very natural, group of women who were sort of like-minded and everything fit together, instead of sometimes they feel, like, incongruous, there's, like, just a bunch of
yeah.
different bands, so it was really nice. It was real and it was fun. It was great.
That's the one thing that I've found really like about I remember Kristen came in to see you. She thought that you were I post the wrong day and she came in a day
Oh, right,
early?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I
Yeah,
had
so I
reached out to
posted
her
on
2
I
years
posted on my
earlier.
newsletter that we were doing a trunk show with you and she came on the wrong day because it was my fault and I met her and I totally fell in love with her. And then she came back when you and Eileen from Lean were there.
Yeah,
And like what you're describing, all of these women coming together who have kind of like a similar something
yeah,
is I think like the best part in my experience of like A, having a Substack and B, doing the store. It's been a really nice place to connect with people
uh,
in that way where it's like somehow we have this like we're not like a lot of things aren't similar, but we have a really similar sensibility and a really similar like just kind of general vibe. Um and I don't know where I was going with that, but I think that like when you came in, we had never met in person before. I had
yeah,
just been like a big fan of your newsletter and of your work and of your jewelry. And then you and Eileen, it was this like amazing confluence of like women who are kind of like interested in living a similar way.
yeah,
Um, but I want to hear kind of like about your vibe for your newsletter, what you try and focus on with it, like where you think your sweet spot is and how you're finding connecting with people that way.
yeah. So I think, my original career as a magazine editor, like, for 20 years, and the favorite I was a writer, fashion writer, and the thing I enjoyed most was discovering new talent and getting a chance to write about it, and that's, what just really inspired me all the time, and I was very lucky to meet some incredible designers that in the beginning, like, I was the first person in the US who wrote about Alexander McQueen, like, when he was nobody, and I went to his first show in the middle of nowhere in London at 11 o'clock at night, like, when he was doing Bumsters, like so I've always just loved meeting people, and then, I also love connecting with women, and I think especially if you're an entrepreneurial in some way. I feel like we all have a lot of similarities and commonalities, and um, that kind of shared experience um, is leads to growth in ways that are
Yeah.
unexpected. I feel like so when I decided to sort of do the flaring, like move my newsletter, it was like I have a site, but now it's on Substack. I just wanted to sort of do that. So it's like talking about women entrepreneurs and things that I love. And then also, I believe in fewer better things. Um, I think part of it's I'm older. There's nothing I need anymore. I love clothes and I love
Yeah.
fashion. There's not one thing I ever need anymore. So for me, it's about finding the things that I truly want and sort of being really careful about and thoughtful about what I bring into my life and what fits in and what makes sense and what really stands out. Because also I think that's how you sort of your style evolves too. Like if you really are very conscious about that kinda like, what you bring in, what you are drawn to, and sort of keeping the noise out, which is really hard to do. I have a hard time with myself sometimes. I get sucked into it as well, but, um
Yeah. There's a lot in there that I wanna ask you more questions about, but the first thing is just that first Alexander McQueen show, like, what was that did you just get this invitation to a thing and someone was like, "This might be cool," and you went and was, like, mind blown, or what was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, he had so we did a story, it was literally 21 designers to watch, and he got a paragraph like that big, and I talked to him from his studio in London. I mean, he literally had just started, and we used to go to London for the shows because there was so much going on then, and, yeah, I got invited. I mean, the show was supposed to be like 8 o'clock at night in the middle of nowhere, and it started at 11, so it was, you know but I was not leaving. It was amazing. Um
Were you there with coworkers or were you on your own?
I don't even remember. I might have been on my own. I don't know if anybody else went. Maybe Melanie Ward went? I don't even know. I can't remember. Yeah.
I'm moving to a different room because apparently my Wi-Fi connection is bad, and it's also I'm in my husband's office, it's very echoey in here, but the reason I ask is I remember when I was an editor and when I was first getting started, how there would be like, "This designer is going to be the next amazing thing, and you have to go," and it was always some kind of, like, sort of shitty venue and
Oop,
a
hold on.
location,
Yeah.
always like that, but, like, the energy was just super high, and, like oh, can you hear me? Am I
Yeah.
back?
Now I can. Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay. Sorry, I was moving. But anyway, I was just thinking about, like, in my early editor days, having, like, similar experiences where it was like, this person's gonna be the next,
yeah.
and getting to see them for the first time was so exciting, and I think now as a retailer and also having a Substack where you can really, like, decide what you're going to cover, you get the best of both worlds where, like, when I was an editor, I remember you would see something and it could be amazing, but you couldn't necessarily get it into the magazine because, like, an advertiser took priority
Right.
or someone got the scoop and you just, like, couldn't. And then when I was working for By George, I wasn't controlling the buy, but, like, you had I remember, like, we went and saw Alyssa Zachary from High Sport with her first collection, and she was just showing it to, like, a small group of retailers, and no one had really seen it, and, like, that feeling of excitement when you go in the room and you discover something new and you connect with someone who's making something amazing, and then as a store, you can actually buy it and connect other people with it, and, like, being able to do that is such a from both sides now with Substack and, like, in a way, linking to other people, you can really have, like, full circle view over what kinds of things you're connecting people with and what kinds of talent you're promoting, which makes me think back about what you were saying about consciously adding to your wardrobe. And, like, just I'm curious what that process is like for you when you see so many things that spark so much interest. I think, like, there's one channel where it can go in the newsletter where you're like, "I love this and this person's amazing, but I don't necessarily need it for myself." Like, when does it switch over to, "I need it for myself," for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. So that I mean, it's something that it's not easy, and um, editing things is hard, I think. Um, and I'm sort of working on that now because there are people who are reaching out to me, like, and want, you know and they're brands that deserve attention, but they might not necessarily be for me. So I think
Right.
what I'm gonna like, going forward, I've been actually thinking about this, like, to be like, "Hey, this is new for me, and this is why it's nice." Um,
Yeah.
but then it's not, like, necessarily gonna be in my edit because, um, I really want my edit to be I mean, my edit is usually exactly what I'm buying. So,
Yeah.
so I try to keep it that way because I feel like, um, there are people like you who are doing amazing things and have, different brands and sort of different aesthetics that sort of go together and mix it up, and you could do that very well. And that's, how what you should be doing, and I think for me, it's just, I just especially since I have my jewelry, it's just, like, keeping it to very personal is I sort of
Yeah.
unless I'm promoting a person, and then usually it's always somebody I wanna do, so.
Yeah. But, like, what like
Oop, we lost you.
Personally, what are the sorts of you keep losing me, really? Let
Yeah,
me see if I
I
can
know.
go upstairs if it's any better. Okay,
We're
hang
going
on.
on a
This is
tour.
we're going on a tour of my house through this a very small window of my phone. I think usually if I'm sitting in my bed, it works better.
There you go.
Do you are you still wait, maybe if I'm in here, this might work. This worked the other day in the living room. Do you still have me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit here on the floor. Um, so like, but what are when you were in my store when we were hanging out, we were talking about the things that you personally love to buy, and there was a little was it a Prada jacket that you picked up from my
Oh,
vintage
yeah.
edit, and you were
Yeah,
like, I so don't need this, but I have to have it. Like, what are the things that you are
yeah, and I wear it a
drawn
lot.
to personally? Because like your style approach and mine are very different. Mine is like a little bit of everything, color, and like it's specific in a way that is very broad, whereas yours, I think, is like, you know yourself so well, and yours is so like, you are a true editor where it's like, I've, followed you for years before I met you and was really familiar with your jewelry and familiar with your style, and it's like, it's feels so, like, on the nose and so consistent in a way that's really inspiring, I think, to, like it's not a capsule wardrobe because it's much more creative than that, but it's really just, like, having a strong sense of who you are
Oh,
and what you like. So I'm curious, like, what are the things that, like, light you on fire right now? And also, how do you not get distracted, and how did you develop that sensibility around your own style?
um, well, thank you. Yeah, so it's so funny, somebody else was saying the same thing, and I mean, I'm older, I'm 58, but I think that somebody was saying that their style it's some guy who's actually making clothes now, um, has evolved to being what it was when he was younger,
Uh-huh.
and that he's gone back to liking the things he first liked, and